Just like in a fitness competition, 3, 2, 1, go. We're back with the Not So Live show. I'm here. Cheryl's here. Dave is back. We missed you. It feels like a long time. And he has since made his own logoed race shirts.
Shirt. It's just one.
Dave, is it a race?
Yeah.
Is it a fitness race?
I would say one would be, if you do no running, it would be a fitness race. But if you do one that's running, that's a hybrid race. Is it a
WOD? Is it a workout? Is it a fitness race?
It would be a fitness race, I would say.
I think I said
I would actually call it a Metcon, to be honest.
Okay, we'll go with that. So I think I said this when I left Ontario, but after this past weekend, the event I was just at. The jury is back in. It's official. It's fitness racing. That's the name of what we do. It took me a long time to get here, and I wasn't sure. And I think I've talked about like what I even decided to name this. Like, should I call it Hybrid Fitness Racing Media? Should I call it blah, blah, blah? And I'm fine with the name Hybrid Fitness Media. But what we're doing is not hybrid racing. It's fitness racing.
I agree. When people ask me what I do, that's what I tell them.
Well, I didn't at first because I remember Ian was saying that in the UK, that's what they called it. And I'm like, that's not what we call it. Everything's hybrid, because we were having these competitions and Battle Bunker, and it just all felt like the word hybrid. But we need the word fitness and the word race, and that's what we're doing.
Hot take, it doesn't matter what we think because people will just call it whatever they feel like calling it.
I agree. And
it seems to be a regional dialect now.
But I'm saying I think in America we're going to start calling them. We just don't have any like they do. They just have so many. We just have Hyrox and DEKA. But I think because they have so many, it's like, oh, what's Deadly Dozen? Well, it's also a fitness race. See what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. I know. That's what they say. But then when it's here, they call it a hybrid fitness race or a hybrid race or whatever.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I don't care what it does. It doesn't affect my pocketbook either way. Well, so, and my podcast is actually called Obstacle Fitness X. There's no hybrid in it.
Oh, look at you. And you were ahead of all of us, Dave. You were ahead of the curve. Breaking ground.
Yep.
Especially with that X on the end.
Well, you got
everything needs an X.
Got to have an X.
Even the race we're at. Yeah.
So Dave, we had some CrossFit notes we saved for you. It feels like now the games were a year ago. Do you want to cover anything about the CrossFit Games?
Sure. I mean, if you had some notes, if you want to talk about it, I mean, yeah, we can fly through that.
Okay. I just didn't know if it felt relevant anymore. What do you remember your overall thoughts, I guess?
My overall thoughts.
Programming. People, there's two camps. Yay, we loved it. Back to basics. And why didn't they do more crazy shit? Those are the two camps people are in.
I am a yay. I loved it.
Me too.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, to me, and I've said this many times, I think, I want to watch people who are the best in the world at something do that thing they're best in the world at. So I don't necessarily care to watch incredible CrossFitters do things that isn't really CrossFit and watch them struggle. I mean, that's not entertaining to me. I want to see the best do the best. And so I thought it was great. I thought, and I mean, you know me, I'm not a Castro fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought this one was really well done. And overall, I found myself really enjoying it. I watched everything. I watched the whole thing. Sorry, I did not watch the teams. I watched every individual wave.
I watched what I normally watch, which is fast forwarding to the third wave of the men and women, and or just a recap the next day of heavy lifts, because who has the time? But that's how I watch it every year, pretty much, except for last year where I kind of tuned out. But I liked it. I liked kind of the back to basics as well. You and I have talked at length about, we don't need to think it needs to be about Dave. And even if you take Dave out of the equation, just the concept of unknown and unknowable doesn't, to me, make that big of a difference. It's nice to keep people on their toes, but not at the sake of, putting a good competition, which is, I think, where it's been. And I think they understand that really complicated shit is what's turning people off. And they also, from a PR/safety standards, were going to keep it pretty simple this year. Like, there was going to be nothing, right? Like, they're not taking any chances. I mean, I don't think they're putting anybody back in the water for a decade, right? So, unfortunately, right? But what did you think about just kind of the things that made us think about the kind of stuff we've dealt with, which I guess the biggest one would be the pegboard, which is the closest thing we've had to like the sled nightmare, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was as bad as some of the issues we've had with the sleds. It was a problem. It should have been thought of beforehand. I mean, a simple squeegee and a towel could have fixed everything. I'm surprised having used these before that ever came up. I mean, that I'm just surprised they didn't have that maintenance program going. I mean, all it took was in between waves, someone to go out, wipe it off, squeegee it down, done, shoot, score, easy.
But weren't they struggling on the practice? Didn't they have one in the back for them to practice on, and people were struggling on that, or am I remembering wrong?
I'm not sure about that. But and I'd actually talked to Carolyn about it, and she said that that just depending on what one you got.
It was kind of like the equivalent of having I remember in California and maybe some of the other places, if you got a sled lane in the sun versus a sled lane in the shade, and this seemed like the equivalent where Tia had a horrible lane and some other people had great lanes, and it doesn't mean they're not fit people, but they shouldn't have beat Tia by minutes or whatever they beat Tia by.
And it wasn't near as bad as the sleds that they had at, I think it was Wadapalooza or whatever one, or maybe NorCal Classic. I don't know, one of the ones they had on the beach, and they were pulling sleds in the sand. And I'm like, this is complete, that should never happen. That was bad. This was an oversight on maintaining the equipment in between rounds. Did it have an effect on some people? Maybe a couple seconds here and there might have made the difference for some people in points, and that can change the direction. So it is unfortunate, and it was a mistake. But when that's the big controversy we take away from this weekend, that's a big step up. Like that's huge. So overall it's great. I like the 30 athletes too. I very much preferred the 30 athletes to 40. 40 was too many.
30 athletes and no cuts.
Yeah, no cuts. Oh, no cuts was awesome. I hate cuts. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I didn't think I appreciated it until I understood more how the sport works in terms of how it changes the dynamics of the finish and how you keep those people in there, and then it keeps the event way more interesting all the way to the last event. The men's event wasn't decided till the very end because
let's for argument's sake say that Colton that there were cuts, and Colton Mertens was cut before the squad event. Right, like you're not allowing, it's not a fair competition, then you're not allowing it's all luck of the draw, right? It becomes if your good events happen early, you got a way better chance than someone whose good events happen late.
Our friend Pat, of course, has had that issue. And again, now that I understand the sport a lot more, I'm like, why would you ever do that? I mean, again, like it kind of makes sense in this, like the rich get richer and you want to reward winning, but not really, not over the course of a 4 or 5 day competition. You kind of just want to see who's the best. That's the whole point. So I think that's perfect. 30, no cuts. Will they keep it that way? Probably not. Next year they'll change it.
I hope not. I hope that this is a step in a different direction, and that they realize that this worked. I think this was about as well as they possibly could have hoped after last year. Like coming back and to get, no giant controversy, some minor things here go wrong in there. It's always going to go wrong, but to come away from it with predominantly people saying, okay, that was okay. That was good. We were happy. We weren't, nobody's furious. Some people I wanted some different programming. Everybody wants something a little bit different. So as long as it suits them perfectly, but I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I really did. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, I think they really needed the win, right? From a PR perspective, from they're about to be bought or sold or whatever perspective. And it's kind of like, I think we've talked about this, like, you throw the short pass for the first 3 plays of the game, get your quarterback some confidence. And it's like, we're not doing anything crazy. Let's put on a good competition. Let's do these fundamental, here's a manual structural, here's a heavy lift, here's a, what I mean? Let's do CrossFit. Great example. So I feel like this many years in, as many years as I've watched the games, I feel like I'm watching it from, kind of afar because it's not my sport, but I've gotten more knowledge because of what we've been doing here the last, couple of years. I still can't say it excites me. I still can't say I love it. And it's like, woo, can't wait. Like I'm still pretty casual about the whole thing.
Yeah. And again, I've always just considered myself a fan of CrossFit. And last year I didn't go in the open this year. I didn't do any of that stuff. My own little protest, because I don't like the way they're doing things. There's still things I still don't like what they're doing, and that I think need to change, and hopefully do. Or maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But as far as the games itself went, I did find myself compelled and enjoying it.
All right. Anything else about the games before we move on to more?
No, but isn't it nice that I wasn't complaining about something? Isn't that cool? Isn't that different?
Well, yeah, like I said, I think they kept it pretty safe. Have you? I know we talked about it, but have you followed the WFP in any of their programming? Because I did not watch their first event.
Yeah. Their programming was pretty simplistic too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it has to do with the venues they're at, right? Like if they're in that inside venue, you can only do so much, right? It's only big. One of the, like, I always think Rogue does a great job on theirs. Rogue is awesome. The Rogue Invitational, I love watching that one.
Quick question: are you paying attention to any of the who's buying CrossFit rumors?
A little bit. I mean, who knows? I don't know. We'll see when we see. But I not enough that I could put forth an educated opinion on if it would be a good owner or not.
Well, I did some digging, and a source that I trust, and that's all I'll say. I said, how close are like Savan and Spin and those guys? And he said they have no idea. So that got me kind of excited. Like, ooh, and maybe he's doing that to throw me off. But anyway, so we'll see.
I heard on a podcast on the way in today that everybody's thought they were close, and the sale was almost done, and now everybody's like, yeah, no, not even close.
Yeah, gonna be interesting. All right, let's move along. You want to talk about DEKA Northeast?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Cheryl, fire away. You're up. You're wearing a DEKA
shirt. You didn't even ask me what I thought about the CrossFit Games. I know
because you and I talked about it last week. I thought.
I don't think we did.
I thought we talked about it briefly, and then we waited for Dave to talk about it some more. But no, go ahead, Cheryl. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I'm not going to say anything. That's all right. Hey, DEKA Northeast, let me ask you about that floor. That was some blue floor. What was that? And was it better for the ultras, or was it a weird floor for people?
So the blue floor was actually like an interlocking floor. I think they play ball hockey on there most of the time, I think, in that area.
So
is it more like plastic or rubber?
Kevin called it sport court, which is what I heard it called.
Yeah.
Back when I did promotions, we did an event. If we set up in a parking lot, you needed something that was like not quite plastic, but wasn't the parking lot. So these connecting pieces called sport court. It's what I was asking for when I put a rower in my backyard. I was like, can I get sport court? And they were like, what the fuck is sport court? And I was like, some interlocking shit. Come on. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
So what I found was, first off, great grip.
Okay.
Like, it had fantastic grip for the corners. And again, fantastic grip for the, sorry, dog's wagging his tail like a madman. Fantastic grip for the tank push. However, a lot of times when we do the sled pull, you can get a little slide out of it if you put a hard rope. There was none of that. It had way too much grip. So, I mean, give and take there, but it also had a little bit of bounce to it, which made it easier on the run. So I didn't, when I first stepped on it, I'm like, I don't know what this is going to be like, but it turned out to be quite favorable. And I did run a race, and I was like, yeah, it ran well. So yeah, it was, to me, was a very pleasant surprise.
Good venue then. Was it?
The venue was crazy. I've never seen a place like this before. I don't know if it's like Spooky Nook Sports Facility.
It's the dumbest name.
No,
it's the dumbest name. And the shirts they had shirts that like Spooky Nook, and it's like creepy eyes, and you had to figure, oh, that says Nook. That's what that says. So
it was named after.
But is it?
It was named after the street, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but it's massive. It was utterly, so what you saw was just a tiny portion of this building where they had unbelievable amounts of basketball courts and rock climbing things, and there was a hotel in the building. It was monstrous. I guess they said it was the largest sports complex in America. It was huge. It was absolutely massive. That's
the
what
largest
they said.
sport. That can't be right.
Google it. I don't know. I'm just telling you what they said.
Going to chat right now.
Go ahead. If it's wrong, don't blame me. That's what they said. But it was really weird. But it was nice. Had a restaurant inside. Lots of little food courts.
DEKA hadn't been there before, right? This was their first time?
I don't know if they had. I'd never been there before.
Okay.
I think recently they had a DEKA mile there.
Yeah, that wasn't the PA venue when I went. Two years ago or last year?
No, so last year, yeah, it was. So I mean, the first year was like in Pennsylvania, then it was in Oaks, and now it's here. And it does say on AI review, the largest sports complex in the United States, Spooky Nook Sports, Manheim, Pennsylvania.
All right. I don't care what your AI says. I want to know my AI.
Yeah.
My AI knows all.
Okay. He can tell you in a pleasant voice.
It's thinking right now, but keep talking. Go ahead.
Clearly, your AI is a little slow-witted.
Anyway, I was
okay. Hang on. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Spooky Nook, is it the largest? Yes, Spooky Nook Sports is officially the largest indoor sports complex in the United States, covering over 700,000 square feet under one roof. But is it the largest event center overall, not just sports? Not quite. While it leads the sports complex category, convention centers dwarf it in terms of indoor area. See, that's what I was thinking. Like, how could it be bigger? And it says, for example, McCormick Place in Chicago, Las Vegas Convention Center, even Georgia World Congress Center, 1.5 million square feet. So that's why I was confused. So, okay, indoor sports complex, great. Congratulations, Spooky Nook.
Yeah.
They are what they claim to be.
Exactly. That's good.
So, yeah, go on, Cheryl. What were you going to say?
Yeah, so I don't know. My standard rhythm on a DEKA Fit weekend is I go do my workout and then I bring up YouTube so I can watch the elite races. And that did not happen this time. I reached out to Jason Dupree and found out that they were otherwise occupied up in Canada for Spartan races. And and he doesn't think they'll actually be at Austin or Fort Wayne. Right. Yeah. Because again, they're otherwise occupied. They're busy filming Spartan and that sort of thing. And so
could I maybe take a gander that there's probably more eyes interested in DEKA PA than Canada?
I was.
Series. No offense, Dave.
Yeah,
no. It's I think actually the DEKA would have got more too. I mean, as much as like I have been to Red Deer and race there. I like it. It's a good time. But
I mean, if we're in the Atkins era, sure. But we're in the not a huge listen, no disrespect. Not disrespect to Austin or Katie Simonson. You guys all did great. Or Master Bader. Like, no disrespect to any of those people. Fantastic job. But I would say the right move was to go to PA. But listen, I don't know their business model.
I think so too. And sadly, we did miss out on seeing especially a really great women's race. Was really well run.
I remember there was a time and place, Dave, that you would be at these races, giving us some fun live streams. And what happened to you, Dave? You clearly don't give a shit about Canada anymore.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, actually, the DEKA one, we missed out on the good women's field there.
Right. Yes.
So
there was. You could go to the YouTube. You could search for YouTube DEKA Northeast, and it would send you to a channel that then would send you to a website where they asked for your credit card.
Yes.
Yes.
I
was like, okay, no, this is not that important.
Again, another good sign, though, of our sport gaining in popularity. It used to just be High Rocks World Champs or High Rocks Germany or whatever. Now it's figured, let's get the people on. Who was it that fell for that? Was it Bracken? Somebody we know.
Oh, no.
Fell for one of those. I'm telling you. Yeah. It was somebody. Not recently, but this was like a year ago. Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, but I thought Robin did a laudable job of posting stories. I was
she always does a good job.
Yeah, I was just constantly refreshing the stories. So the women's race, you're right, absolutely. Janelle Teal just gets better and better, right? Like, I am just watching her, and the fact that Brooklyn broke the world record for the women's ruck, and then
earlier that day
hops into this race and takes third.
Yeah,
I just thought that the performances were absolutely fantastic. I don't even need to talk about Kat Fossbender. I mean, I think we were all confident.
Every time I see Kat, right, like I always know she's a fast runner.
Yeah.
Then every time I see her, it reminds me just how strong she is.
Well, and she had posted she's just coming off a strength block, so her
Yeah.
her running isn't quite there yet. And I'm just thinking, oh man, she's going to be a problem for everybody. Like what? She's third on the leaderboard now for overall behind Lauren and Vivian. And I want to see that race in Fort Lauderdale. I really do.
And when you mentioned Brooklyn, and you say Brooklyn beat that record, you know who had that record before, right?
Megan?
Lauren Weeks.
Oh, Lauren.
Jeez.
So it's not like she beat my record or just some that's
some
like
random person.
If you beat Lauren Weeks at anything, like that's
Nice
unreal. So hats off to Brooklyn. She was great. She and then like you say, to come back and come third later in the day.
Yeah.
And then she ran a relay at the end of the day and she podiumed there too.
Nice. So good. Was that teams or relay? Are they running relays yet? Was that a full-on four-person relay?
Teams. Yeah,
okay.
Sorry. Yeah, teams. Yeah.
We got to start. We got to start being careful about that.
The first teams is in Austin. So
the first relay is in Austin.
Relay is in Austin. Oh crap!
Do you work for DEKA?
I think it's named backwards. I don't know.
Four-person relay, two-person teams. That's what makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Except the four-person relay is just four-person teams. It really isn't a relay.
No,
but is it?
Or it's two-person teams doubled.
But
yeah.
But
teams.
is it art?
Okay, Matt, you can talk now.
I'm gonna skip it. You ruined my joke. The timing is everything, and you blew it. Kept talking over me.
It's your joke. I didn't blow it. Clearly, you did.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to the elites in Fort Lauderdale for sure. I think it's going to be, especially on the women's side, I think they've really shown up. It's going to be really fun.
The biggest question for me about Fort Lauderdale will be, will the Australians and the Spanish come over?
Funny you mentioned that, because I updated the leaderboard and Calypso's time was not on there because, DEKA doesn't update the fucking leaderboard that often.
So, yeah.
And I didn't think they updated Strong and Miles that quickly, but I thought the main one they did, but apparently they didn't. So then I reposted, and then I just saw a message just before we turned on. There were 2 other times that are in the top 15 that I missed because those also happened. So let me read their names so I can give them proper credit. Oh, here's another message asking me when Chicago is. People love to ask me what the fuck's happening with Chicago.
Never.
Now, of course, I can't find it. Hang on. Where the hell did it go? You have all these different folders.
Yeah.
And you have all these different folders.
Well, the problem was it came up like 3 days ago, but I didn't see it till just now.
Oh.
So Nadia Fedorova, 3429, and Bree Garefa, 3533. Okay. That puts those people, if we go back to my post, in the top 15. I'm not going to redo it, but it bumps out a few people that are there now. And so how many more races do we have? DEKA? DEKA.
2.
Dave, how many more races do we have?
Yeah, 2 in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one in the UK.
Let me tell you something though. Okay. Let me tell you something that I also want to say now about this. I go, hey, Calypso, you coming back to America? She's like, I don't know, maybe. I've already got to ask for time off work to do these mountain climbing things or mountain running things I'm doing. And I really love that. And I don't know if I can do both. And I thought, imagine being almost the best in the world at something and just being so cool that you're like, yeah, maybe I'll make it. Maybe I won't. I mean, I just think, if I had that much skill or confidence or anything at that age, I just couldn't imagine it. But yeah, she's just out there living her best life. And like, if I have a chance to be the best in the world at something, a race for money, I'd be all over it. But she's just like, yeah, cool. Maybe not. Kind of like that Rogloski style of like, I'll show up when I feel like it. And if I do well, great. If I don't, it's cool. Like sport isn't her whole life. And I think we probably need more of that.
That is goals. Absolutely. I listened to that, the Running Public interviewed Chris Rogloski recently, and she was talking about the same thing. It's just, you can't possibly tell me that you're happier doing all these races when you could run through Switzerland, you could do like all these amazing things. And I'm thinking, okay, I just need, like, my head is not in the right place. Yeah. She's much more mature. So Calypso is our Southern Hemisphere Chris Rogloski.
There you go. Well, she was here for a while. She went to school here, and then she just she again, like, just kind of jumped in like savage and what, like, she's just one of these people that, like, some people are really talented and they just go, oh, I'm good at this.
Yes. I kind of think that all Australians are better than us. It's just terrifying. If Deanna Blake comes, I'm dead in Worlds. Like, she will kill us. She will kill us all. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how many come. I think it'll be, hopefully that it is exciting. But it was funny because Ryan and I ran this weekend, so this is our first time we ever did a fit together, and I went through just the standings to see where our time would put us, and it's like 47th in age. Now we age up in about a month or two, right? So for next year we age up, so we don't figure to be high up. We're like 46 or 47. There's 35 teams overseas ahead of us.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at 47, 35 of them are from Spain, UK, and Australia.
Right. So they're catching up. They've all done DEKA 20 times, and they're like, hey, let's try to start doing. Now, interestingly enough, though, you mentioned them coming over on my podcast. Declan said we're trying to sponsor the teams. So I don't know how many he's sending over, but like they want to do that. Like they
don't send a 35 over ahead of me.
I don't think it's the age groupers. I think it's going to be the, I think it's going to be the top pros.
I severely hope that happens.
No, listen, we all want a real world championship, right? So yeah, it'll be great for the sport. Plus they can experience Florida.
And I got some experience with him last year. He helped with the judging at Worlds. That guy's an awesome guy. He was a very good judge too.
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. So it was a good event. It was a good weekend. As always, need more volunteers, need more judges, all that stuff. But we do what we can and get through it. And we had some good elite races. Kent put in a really good run as well as he's gotten faster again.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, like, I know, I think in he's thinking he should be sub 30, but it's not as quick as when he was running a sub 30 before, right? The different standards take longer. The new magnetic sled is slower. It actually adds up to he's about where he was before, maybe a little behind, maybe not quite where he was at his peak, but he's getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I did not see much because I was many hours ahead, and I tried, and I did the one post, and I wanted to post the men, but couldn't get the men to post a decent picture, so they didn't get one. Sorry, men. And Kent took off apparently.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I quite frankly was too busy, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I talked to him for like a couple minutes beforehand, didn't get a chance to talk to him afterwards. But
should we roll into Yancy and Joe do a podcast?
Sure.
That was amazing. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Cheryl, do you want to start? I know you have some thoughts.
I open up my social media Sunday morning and see that, which is the
OCR report.
The OCR report they had posted a podcast where they had done an interview with Joe DeSena and Yancy Culp about, and the headline was about paying elites and how elites haven't been paid. And so I snapped that on and did my morning yoga to a podcast where Joe and Yancy talked about.
Hey, stop right there. Yoga. Okay. Yoga is not like getting on the treadmill or doing a long run. Yoga is meant to be like, getting centered and, getting your mind and body as one. And you're listening to the man who makes you nuts, Joe DeSena.
Because I don't do yoga that way. I get far too bored, and I just needed to get some mobility work in. So,
okay, Cheryl, you and Riley are kindred spirits. She does yoga to listening to like Korn and Tool.
Listen, I could give you the Korn even. Like, I'll give you that because that's its own meditation. But listening to Joe and Yancy seems like an odd choice. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's
you should have just said mobility work, and I would have judged you. You should have said I was doing some mobility work.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, so doing down dog to Joe DeSena talking about how he says we're always the people that say there's no excuses. And, in Spartan, there's no excuses. You just get it done and stuff. And he says, and so I'm just telling you, there's no excuse for why we haven't paid anybody. And then Yancy kind of takes the fall for the whole thing and said that post-pandemic, he was the one that advocated for still having payouts for elites in DEKA races. And so he takes the entire blame for keeping that program going, even though there wasn't money to actually be able to do it. And so that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, in you know, the verbs in the sentence were payouts are currently going out. This was clearly, in my mind, a reaction to elite Spartan athlete Nicole Miracle posting that Spartan doesn't pay people, because she was getting frustrated that she hadn't been paid for some championships that she had won. And all of a sudden they're on this podcast, and now all of a sudden they're paying out. And they say that 80% of what they owe athletes will be to the athletes by September 1st. And then the rest will happen by the end of the year. So checks in the mail, right?
18 days from now.
Right. And so, and they say, you know, that it's just coming along. He says, you know, I invite you to come and see the business, that you just don't understand this business doesn't have kind of a regular cash flow. And so it's hard. And so therefore we don't always have it. Yancy is thanking the elites for sticking with the brand through the tough times. And Yancy also,
because no other race companies exist that have different races on different dates, right? Like they're the only company in the world like that, I guess.
I'm just reporting what I heard.
I just couldn't let that one go.
Yes, while I was doing Bada.
There's very little I'm going to say here that I haven't already said in the past, other than a couple things. But I just do want to say, just to hear someone say that out loud, is just, to me, just kind of fascinating that you would say we have inconsistent income because we're an event company. It's just kind of mind blowing to me.
Right. So, and that's, and therefore, so he's saying we don't have an excuse, but they did have explanations, right? Like they were trying to explain why this is going on. Now, whether or not, you know, you're up on that, you buy it is up to you. Anyway, the only other thing that I remember that I thought was significant was Yancy says that he is working with the corporate office on instituting same-day payouts for elites, that's what they're trying to get done going forward. And so he's working with them on doing that. And so
do you think that will happen? Do you think that will happen, Cheryl?
I think it's real easy to say you're working on stuff. And he says that it's complicated for tax purposes. I don't really know anything about that, but all I think is that if there are excuses for the lack of payment in the past, what are the excuses for continuing to promise the payment? Unless you've got the checks waiting at the finish line, why would you ever promise that you're going to pay these people? Because it's been years. This isn't, you know, nobody's talking pandemic anymore, right? It's been years. And so I do think that
some people are still talking pandemic.
Some, like who, other than Spartan?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And so I do. I just think it, look, it's fine if, you know, you mess up, but then you do something different going forward. And I heard nothing about this is what's going to happen going forward. This is what we're working on going forward. And so that was kind of frustrating to me. And I will say this, I'm a DEKA, like one of the interesting things early on in the interview was Joe was talking about how he goes to these events and it's like church, right? And Yancy talks about the mission, and they treat this like a religion. And I would say for them it is, right? They are here to get people off the couch. They're here to transform lives. And I am all about that. When I won my first Triple Crown, I wrote down, what does this mean? If I'm a champion, what does this mean? And one of the things I put on my list is to be an evangelist for the sport. And I am an evangelist for the sport. I am big into DEKA. I'm bringing somebody new to my DEKA mile that we're going to in 2 weeks here in Las Vegas. I will continue to evangelize for this. But a religion is different than a business. And I feel like they want us to have faith in them. And I don't think businesses are run that way. And I definitely don't think that elites consider this a religion. This is business. They are performing for a promised prize that they're not getting. And so I can see why the elites are bailing on them. because I know a lot of the elites are.
Dave.
So what Cheryl says right there, I agree 100%. And I think that had they never offered the prize money in the beginning, you'd actually have more elites racing it than you do by offering prize money and not paying it. I mean, we've gone on about this for years, forever. And here's the thing. I mean, directly about the podcast. I'll listen to Yancy on any podcast anytime, because Yancy is doing what Yancy does. He's, like Cheryl says, he's trying to build a sport. He's preaching. He's helping people. He's himself. He's doing what Yancy is. He's true. He's genuine. That's who he is. I do not care to hear, and I've told people this, I don't care to hear from Joe until it's time for him to say, we're caught up and we're sorry. And that's all I want to hear. That's it. I don't need anything else. Right? We're caught up. We're sorry. Here's where we're going forward. And the one part that did get me, or not one part, but one of the parts that got me about the podcast was the comment, and you said it earlier, will be 80% paid by September 1st, or whatever the case may be. That to me is far too vague. If you're going to say anything about that, I would have rather them said, we will have everybody who is owed money from this date paid at September 1st. And then we'll be going from that point on. So it is, honestly, to me, it was just, I mean, Matt, I know you're thinking this, it was just more of the same.
What did you, Cheryl, what did you say to me today about understanding my level of frustration? What did you say to me today off the record?
That I am getting to where I understand. The more I hear about how this has been going for years and years with people, the more I understand the level of vitriol that people have toward all of this. This is a business that says that they have survived all this, and that they that people discounted them, and that they've been able to manage it. But if you're a restaurant and you have your doors open and you let people in, but you don't have any food in the kitchen, are you a restaurant? I don't know if that's the case with the elites. And I worry that, does Yancy just need to be honest and say, look, we can't do this right now. Let's shut this. Let's do prize money at world championships or something, and stop promising what he can't give.
Well,
first of all, you just gave me the greatest. That I'm using that clip for social media, but I gotta say a couple things, because I love you use that word evangelist. I think we used to jokingly say, like, oh, I'm an obstacle enthusiast or whatever. And I like the word evangelist. And if you pointed to, I don't know, wait for Dave. We'll wait when the whole class is ready. Dave was slightly interrupted. It's okay.
I was completely on mute.
No, I know, but you were distracted. I wanted to say something that involves all of us. I wanted to say something that involves all of us. The three of us are in fact evangelists. The three of us,
yes,
on this show. So I got a message. I don't know what day. Sunday morning. Did you hear your shout out on the OCR podcast? And I knew it wasn't going to be good. OCR Report podcast, and I was like, oh boy. And I had to kind of,
shout out was awesome.
And I kind of braced myself. And I definitely am one of these people that's like, hey, if somebody's talking shit about me, you don't need to message me, because if I don't, out of sight, out of mind. But because I'm in a pretty good place with myself, it just kind of amused me, which was, as far as I understand, Joe said Matt B. Davis counted us out. Now, you cannot find me saying that phrase anywhere on a podcast, anywhere in an article, or any text to Joe ever that said, I think Spartan will fail, or I have counted you out. I've only been doing what, we're sitting here doing, talking about sports that we love, OCR and fitness racing, and our frustrations with this company that we love, and as much as we love the product, the messiness we've seen behind the scenes, late payments, weird rules, all the things going down the line. So I'm okay that Joe thinks that and wants to make me now part of the myth. Joe loves myth making. And so now this is going to be part of his story. Matt counted us out, but you didn't, this other podcast that I'm on. So that's why I'm on your podcast, because you didn't count me out. So that's want to be his. And I honestly, past that, anybody says I don't care what people say about me, that's a lie and that's not human. Obviously I do. But after I was slightly annoyed, it's more humorous to me now because, like, I currently work for his company. Like, I'm working with the Europe team to go to World's Toughest. I'm working with them. Like, I'm currently working with Spartan. So it's kind of weird that for him to say Matt counted us out, but he may not know. But really quickly, I have to get to this point. When you said religion, I very quickly decided to ask my friend Chat, what's the difference between a religion and a cult? And I just want to read the first two things.
Okay.
Size and longevity. One, religion, large, long-standing, often spanning generations or centuries. Cult, small, new, and usually centered around a living founder or a short history. Leadership structure. Cult, dominated by one charismatic leader who holds unchecked authority. So are Yancy and Joe the leaders of this cult of fitness, right?
I think that they are the charismatic leaders, and especially Yancy. I think we are all in the tank for Yancy. We love him. We love his enthusiasm, and it's really contagious. And that's why I think that religions operate more on testimonials than they do on logic. And I think there's a lot of testimonials about getting people.
But people feel that way about Joe. They do still come up to him at a race and will say, "You changed my life.
Yeah.
I was depressed. I was overweight." And he did create this thing, right? The reason we're all sitting here, right? Or at least one of them, if you're going to, who knows how many people are responsible, right? And so he's that charismatic leader. Now, those of us that have seen behind the curtain aren't as thrilled as much, but he's the same. He's kind of the same way. And I think, I think you can have both. I think you can have a charismatic leader and a really good company that, figures out a way to manage better and pays its people better and on time and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I will say one thing too. I think if you, like you said, we peek behind the curtain. The one thing, and I have seen behind the curtain, at least, and I'll speak for Yancy specifically, is when you see behind the curtain, you're actually getting the same thing when it comes to Yancy.
You mean by his level of care?
Yeah.
He's in it for the right reasons. I do think there's
who he presents.
Yes, I do think there's a difference between the age group situation and the elite situation too. I think with the age group situation, I mean, that's where his bread and butter is. He cares a lot. Look at who he features. If he's going to talk to people who are out there, it's people who have overcome things, who have, overcome health issues and stuff. We Triple Crown people, there's a whole bunch of us. We've never been featured once, right? Like, he's happy that we're there, but he really, really cares about the people who have never done this before, who are out there changing their lives. And I love that about him. I really love that about DEKA and how accessible it is.
By the way, get ready for Joe to text me and say, "I heard you called us a cult, Matt. You counted us out. Now you call us a cult." So sorry.
I don't think a cult is an insult. I don't think that's insulting at all. I think that's I'm all right with that. Like if you say, you're part of that DEKA cult, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. CrossFit, High Rocks, good heavens, all
cults,
matching outfits. Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. People worship at the Church of High Rocks, but Mo and Christian aren't really that way. Like, they're German and a little weird. They're not really the crazy charismatic leader, right?
Nope, they're not.
Glassman was, right? Glassman was, and Dave kind of is, right? Dave Castro, but High Rocks has kind of done it. It's funny, though, to think about it, because when you said that, again, I hadn't thought of this. High Rocks stopped paying for every race, and people don't give a shit. They just want to be at that race, have that patch, have that time. So that's the way to build a brand, right?
They said we're not paying for the race, rather than say they were going to pay and not pay. So there was no trust broken.
Yes. And that's what I think DEKA needs to do, is they need to going forward, be honest. And I think that people will show up to these DEKA fits. There's not a lot. They will show up to get on the leaderboard so that they can qualify for Worlds for a really nice big payout in Worlds. That's how High Rocks does it. I don't know why DEKA wouldn't look at that business model as well.
I think,
and I will say something about High Rocks.
That would be the move for 26.
Yes. High Rocks is not in the business of trying to get people off the couch. They created a business around people who are already in gyms to give them something to spend money on. And that's why I think it works, right? It's a
that's their secret agenda. They have said, and maybe it's changed, but it is the fitness race for everybody, right?
Yeah,
That's a tagline, and it wasn't even a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I think they might lose it, because I think how did you just phrase that? You just described the whole sport. Say it again.
What, me?
Yes.
That they created a business around people who were already in the gym and just gave them a service that they did not have yet.
Right, which again, somehow Spartan missed and CrossFit missed. It was right there.
Yes.
CrossFit
And DEKA isn't
CrossFit hit it, but they didn't do it where it was mass participation. They didn't figure out how to do it mass participation. They did it on a smaller level, and then they did it where their competitions are small, and then they have the one big competition for all the super high elites.
But it feels more like a cult in the negative way, right? Because it really is just like, oh, you have to be so dedicated and you have to be able to do these fucking.
But it didn't used to. It did, like in the beginning, it was a cult, and we're all here for like saving the world for health issues and all that stuff, and going on, and the methodology, like it was all very positive at the beginning, and then it turned.
Right. But yeah, so you think because again, what we used to always say, Dave, like, hey man, we still love Spartan because the product in the field is always great. Like regardless of the office and what happens, we love doing the races and blah blah blah. Now in recent years, some of that's changed, and people don't like, people want obstacle innovation or whatever. But because DEKA only puts on like 12 races a year, right? And they're usually run pretty well. We've got we've got what do you call it? We've got volunteer issues, but other than that,
everybody does.
People are all in and bought in, and so just get rid of the payouts and just 26, get rid of it, and then you don't have that trust broken every week or every whatever. And
this is the one thing I take away. Like I said, and I take this away. Cheryl, you said Yancy ate it and said, I was one of the people saying keep the prize money up and everything. Great. Let's just take that at face value that is the case. We'll take that's the case. It wasn't Yancy's decision. Yancy put forth his opinion. He didn't make that decision. And to still be, and so essentially, basically, I felt that they recognized that as a mistake, but they have not corrected it. They're still doing it.
That's what I don't understand.
And that's the big thing. And I've had this conversation with Yancy, and we feel differently on it, and stuff. So I still believe that right now that their payments, until caught up, should be taken away. But it is what it is. I still, though, much, and I'm like Cheryl on this. I'm optimist. I am hoping beyond hope that it works out this time. And when Yancy says that they're working on paying podiums on different, that is legit. I can 100% confirm that is part of the plan. I just hope they can pull through with it. And
And if they can't, then
just say so.
Just say so. Something different.
Well, they did finally kind of figure that out with Spartan, because remember, they used to pay every race, Sprint Super Beast. So that's however many races all year. They finally were like, okay, let's only do some of them. And then, okay, let's just do none of them. And now you don't even get paid for series. There's only these championships, right? There's the series at the end of the year. So it is getting easier for them to get caught up. And I hope they do. What was I going to say? Because now it really is just like, you got OCRWC, you got WTM, you got West Virginia trifecta champs, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many championships they have now to pay out, so they should be able to catch up. But like you said, I don't know what 80% means. 80% of what everybody is owed, 8% of the athletes will be 100% caught up. I'm not sure, but let's hope they got caught up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all just sitting here like we might be finding fault with what Joe said and all that stuff, but in reality, we're all hoping that he comes through.
Well, that's why that's why we're here. We're evangelists of the sport.
Yeah.
Yes. And DEKA and Spartan too. I can't even count the people I know whose lives have changed because of these events. And so they need to keep it up. They need to just keep it good. And that elite program, they just need to figure something out with that. But keep doing what you're doing. Don't make promises you can't keep.
I am married to my wife because of this sport.
Because of DEKA?
No, because of like we met through OCR.
No,
and
I was gonna say
yeah,
you met her
but
at fucking
no, but I
Bones
mean,
Talk.
we're talking about Spartan as well, right? Like, so this goes in past, but like, yeah, that's what I mean. The goofiest thing to ever say is that it changes lives. That's the one tagline that's absolutely true.
It's true. It is. It's absolutely true. You should see all the kids wearing the Spartan gear that they got from the Spartan here in Las Vegas. They are so proud of it.
Yeah.
They're just so excited.
What's
So
a
yeah.
kid? What's a kid to you, Cheryl?
20s.
Okay. Some people
Yeah.
think actual kids, so I just wanted to just be specific.
Yeah. No. The Vegas Spartan here is like 15 minutes from us, and they all went, and they just it changed how they thought about themselves. And I see DEKA do that too.
Well, listen, if you go to any gym, you might still probably see a Spartan or Mutter shirt at the gym.
Yes.
Do you guys know who Amy Haskell is?
Name sounds familiar.
So she has a neurological disorder. She was there. We see her at DEKA events with her husband Andy.
Nancy had a post walking with her.
Yes, she was there this weekend. She judged burpees for like 4 hours.
Oh, geez.
During the ultra.
I feel like a baby.
She was, and she did a great job, right? And she was amazing. She was so positive and so happy all the time. And it was to the point where one of the guys running the ultra, his wife was, moving around with him, and she went to Amy after, and she goes, "You've inspired me. I just signed up to do a DEKA Strong at my local gym, and I've never done anything before."
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's what hits home with Yancy. That's the Yancy world that he wants.
Exactly.
But that's what I mean. It literally changes lives from, someone like that inspiring others and going on. And by the way, she is amazing. They did their relay together, or teams together, as they've done before, and they are just unreal. And they inspire me. Like, it's, yeah, it that stuff gets you going. And that's the thing that, God, I hope we don't lose that ever. Like,
yep. They need to focus on that and keep it good, because that restaurant, they're starting to run out of napkins.
Uh-oh.
The food's a little cold. You're like, they got to keep that going, right?
Yep.
That's the important one. That's the important one.
Exactly.
I love a restaurant analogy, Cheryl. I love it.
Okay.
We got churches, we got religions, we got churches, we got cults.
There you go.
Um,
All right.
Anyway, it was a good weekend.
Anything else, Dave, about your event before we move on?
No. It just it was another good time. Seemed like everybody had well. The ultra was fun. I am very tempted to try it one day. I just don't know when I will possibly have. It would have to be an event that I wasn't working, because otherwise I couldn't do it. I would be torn. I'd walk off the course to do something else. And yeah, I just don't think. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it.
Will a fit ever come to Canada?
I think so. But I don't think it's high on the priority list right now.
Right.
If I was Spartan or DEKA and I wanted to tap into the Toronto market, and as we all know, like I said, dealing with the border crossing can be difficult with equipment and whatnot, I would just go to Buffalo. Buffalo's like 90 minutes from Toronto, and you'll get everybody that's going to go to a Toronto event will go to Buffalo.
All right. All right. Well, I want to talk about the event I went to this weekend, and all the things that went really well, and I think what can be learned from it. First of all, I want to say that oh man, where'd my notes go? There we go. Oh, Dave, I tried to take your advice and find a really fit person to do my doubles event with.
That's the way to do it.
Grant Thompson is he's kind of a real life groundskeeper Willie, if you look at him with his shirt off.
Nice.
I mean, he's a very fit guy. He's an ultra racer, right? He does 100 miles at World's Toughest. Quite fit guy. Actually looks a little like you, Dave, actually, now that I think about it.
And that doesn't intimidate you to race with somebody like that? That would scare me to death.
Well, I think what's good is, I give people like the proper thing. Like, this is going to be fun, right? Like, we're going to try, but this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Looks a little like Dave.
Nice job. Gee whiz. You've got a type, Nat. Look at you.
I said, hey, man, would you come down and do this race with me? And he said, sure. And then a couple days before, I said, by the way, how far away are you? And he hadn't looked, and neither of us had. He's like, oh, I'm 4.5 hours away. But it turns out it's kind of like Dave. Everything's far away. He's in Inverness,
Right.
just at the top. He says he goes way farther for Tough Mudders and Spartans all the time, so it's fine. But
okay, I have a quick question for you because I've only got like 10 minutes and I got to go.
Okay.
And then you can finish talking. Was this entire event a partner race then? There's
Yes.
no individual?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's also kind of common in the CrossFit world to have partners events like, same or mixed partners. And that is, first, I just want to say that it is good to find someone who's a lot fitter than you. But at the end of the day, if you're as slow as I am, it kind of doesn't matter. And we finished 78th out of 87 male teams or whatever it was. But I don't care. I had a great time.
Ain't DFL.
It ain't DFL. And I had a great time. And it's so funny because everyone at the end is like, how was it? And without thinking, I go, horrible. Like, in the best way. You know what I mean? I don't say fun or great. I go, horrible, right? Because that's how I feel at the end, right? But in the best way, right?
How long did it take you?
Hour and a half, which is probably what I figured. And right, he had said most people were finishing when they did a sim version, like in about their High Rocks time, right?
Okay.
So quickly, I'll say what I really liked, because I want to get your thoughts, Cheryl. Number one, not the same station run, right? Well, first of all, not starting with a run. So from start to the bike, you just walk out and you get on the bike, right? Then from the bike, try to move those fucking legs and run. Good luck. It really hurts. It sucks, right? I was like, oh. Then after the fourth station and you do a run and you go outside, now you're on the field and you're doing just field stuff. So there's a different strategy. There's a different, like, how your body works because you don't have to run anymore. And there was these two kids, I'll say kids, that were ahead of Graham and his partner. And I thought, everybody goes out too fast, blah, blah, blah. But because there wasn't running in the second half, I thought, well, maybe they'll hold off, because if it's just stations and they're really good at station work, they can't get caught up on the run. You see what I'm saying? But the kid hurt himself, his back, and they ended up like falling way back. But I really liked that as a way to be different. The guy who runs the event comes from a CrossFit background. Like, it is a CrossFit gym, and they've started these High Rocks classes in the last year or two, and he wanted to put on a hybrid event. And you could tell it was mostly CrossFit based, mostly because the judges were all really good. Like, you could just tell this wasn't their first time judging. And even like little things, like when people get down to 5 reps and they hold their hand up, like that just kind of is instinctual for them to do, which is not something we really do at DEKA or whatever. And I don't know, Dave, if you guys instruct people to do that or not, but it's just something we've seen in CrossFit all the time, right? When you get down to 5 calories or whatever it is. Also, the idea of, which I thought at first was a bad idea, was everybody gets their own judge. Like, here's your judge. They're with you the whole time. And I was like,
great if you have enough. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I said, dude, why would you need 10 people for 10 bikes and 10 people for 10 rowers? You're going to run out of volunteers. Like, you'll need 2 people there walking around, turning things off and on. He's like, nope, here's why we're going to do it. And again, I realized that it comes from CrossFit. Like, that's what they do. Like, they keep the judge with you, right? But then here's when I knew he was going to be fine. He said, I think we have 100 judges coming. And in my mind, I'm like, eye roll. And then Saturday night, because the race was Sunday, he has his walkthrough and 60 judges showed up. And I was like, oh, okay, they're going to be fine. You can't get 20 people to show up through a walkthrough like the night before. It doesn't. It's so hard. So when they had 60 people, I'm like, I think it's going to be fine. And sure enough, I didn't see any issue with any not having enough judges. They ran 200 teams. It looks like. I have to go back and do the exact count. Maybe 250. I have to look. But they not only had enough people and enough judges, but there was a break in the middle of the day, which I thought also was a really good way to run an event, just to kind of give everybody a break and reset and fix things that are maybe a problem. Like, they did most of the they had a no regrets division, which was like the equivalent of the Tri-Rocks division in Ontario. Just the, hey, we're not even going to time you. Just, you're going to come out. We're going to give you a judge. And when you finish, you finish. And, we're not going to judge your wall balls. We just want you to do it. And I thought that was really great, because then the fastest heat actually happened at the end of the day. And he kind of knew, like, he asked people to self-select, but he also kind of knew, let's put Graham and these guys at the end of the day. So everybody most of the big people stayed. If you saw, I did a shot of the crowd, people stayed for awards. I said to him, this was a textbook of how to do a first event. You would have no idea this was a first event. Now, I think he probably either has money or got some donations that maybe not all people have access to. So in terms of like cool signage and, a lot of stuff. But it was really well run. Any questions you have before you have to run, Cheryl? Like, what other questions you had about the event?
That was kind of the main thing, is just, so everybody's just picking their own part. You're just going in as teams. And you're doing that. And I did want to know how long it took. It looked fun. Like, it looked like every station, well, don't give me an assault bike, but like the wall balls, how hard was it to get that rhythm? Was there a lot of dropping the ball, or?
Yeah, once you realize, and it took me and Graham a couple times, when I was practicing it, we actually got it pretty quickly. Once you realize the goal is to get a nice arch on it, right? So that it comes down in a way that's not coming down right in front of it. Because I'm right in front of it, you're stepping in and then you're stepping back. Because even if you don't do it in one fluid motion, like a lot of people, best athletes can catch down up. I can catch, pause, down, up, but I'm still not moving my feet. It's kind of like when if you've ever thrown a football or a baseball with somebody and you get to where you're literally just putting the glove right here, you don't need to move your body. That's kind of the way to do it. And that's another thing, is like, I kept an eye all day on good depth, and I saw really good depth like all day. So again, I think it's the quality of participant, right? Like, he clearly has this very popular gym, and a lot of those people that did the no regrets division were people that like were volunteering later. And yeah, something really different. Like, once you do the stations and the erg work, you go outside, and the first thing is those wall balls, and then the next thing you do is you pick up that worm, right? That sandbag worm, and you just run with it, which isn't that hard, right? But it's, it was about 300 meters. But then as soon as you get back, you drop it, and now it's burpees over them, and those are fucking horrible, right? Because everything's 100, right? Horrible to do 100 of those. And then the lunges, which is horrible, right?
Right.
And then you put it down and then you finish. But that's what most people hated, the burpees and the lunges. Everything else is
the lunges are at the end, and then you have like a sprint finish, right?
Yeah. Sprint finish. Like that. If you have any legs left.
I like that. I like the wobbly sprint.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine how that would feel.
But just the level of detail, like if you pick to get 300 meters, you had to go down and around and back, and it wasn't exact. So they laid out like squares, like lanes. And so if you started here at number 6, you finished over here at number 6. So everybody went the same distance, like all that kind of stuff, which I might not have even thought of. It's just like, all right, we'll go here and come back here. And again, for a first time event, it was done super well. Like Ontario, they didn't have timing. And so again, I thought that would be a problem. But rather than just writing it down, which leads to, I think, a little more mistake, there's this new app called Circle 21, which is like a competition corner or one of those apps, but you tell it what it is, and then you got an app counter right in it. You can go boop, 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 right? So the person can go forward, can go back, and just count the reps, and then guess what that happens when you're done? There's the time on that station. So pretty cool, right? I don't see the splits yet. I don't think they've put that up, but I have my overall time. And I still saw some people, like I saw in that elite heat, like the woman counting Graham's team. I think she was just a CrossFit judge who was like, she just like checked, they tick off 10s, but it was all right in the app. where you sign up is on the app, your team name is on the app, and then your judge just follows you in the app. And so I think it's a new thing, and it's pretty damn cool. Because again, I always think like why not at least time the beginning and the end? Like at least have a chip timer for the beginning and the end, and then at all else fails, you've got that. But it seemed to work. So those are all the things I thought were really good.
It looked equipment heavy, like hard to replicate. Are there plans to expand this and do it? Because it looked really slick, like just it looked really high quality, like the signs and everything. There were
Right.
pieces of paper stuck to, traffic cones, right? Like they did everything really, really nice, right? And so does he have plans to expand this?
So this was a fundraiser. And when I do my episode about it, which will be Thursday with all the interviews, I'll talk more about it. But it's this friend of his that passed, and he was like, "This one's 100% like this. It's all going to this charity, which is this like recovery and sobriety charity." He said next year it's going to be for profit, and I think he's saying he's going to do at least 2, or maybe I made that up. But I would tell him absolutely do a spring and a fall, try to have it like good dates. Look at the calendar. Don't have it be the same as a bunch of other competitions. But clearly, I mean, people really dug it, and yeah, it just everything looked great. And I look for errors, and I couldn't really find any. Like I said, I think finances do play a part, right? Like if you can make really cool signs and cool marketing stuff everywhere, that does make a difference. But you still have to pull it off. You still have to know how to measure, how to just make it make everything flow, because it's not as natural as it's not as it only looks easy when it's done right. Oh, that looks easy.
Yeah.
But just even the idea of the indoor outdoor, I think, was cool, because that kind of makes it kind of cool that you do the exercise, run outside, then come back, right?
Yeah.
What other
was
questions?
there a DJ?
Oh, of course there was a DJ.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, the one and only Zach Wild, who does all these events all over the UK. Basically, he's like at all the CrossFit events, and good dude. And yeah,
it looks really fun. It looks really innovative. I loved that it didn't just look like a repurposed High Rocks, right? Which all too often happens. And there's so many other things to be done. And I really do want to try that wall ball partner thing. I think that
I've done that in the gym before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna make my people do that next week. So we're just gonna try it.
Do it, man. We did the workout we did that I did the 2 nights before, I guess. It was like a little mini thing, and it was calories on the by the way, calories suck.
Yes.
So when you do meters, right? Like
Yes.
I know that when I'm on the fucking skier at 990, I can stop fucking pulling, right?
Right.
And it's gonna roll over. Calories, you have no fucking idea. Because they just like that, the first 5 even, just like, oh my God, are they ever going to tick off, right? And we were doing 125 calories. The men were doing 125, the women were doing 100, and then all the rep schemes were 100, right? So like box step overs were like, I feel like the only thing that went quickly, because you can kind of do this relatively quickly. And as you saw my amazing photo of me doing a box step over,
they made you look good, which is pretty amazing.
Zach took that picture as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, dude, calories are fucking brutal. Please don't do that to me, any race organizer. Please have us do meters.
All right, I have well overstayed my time. It was very good to talk to you guys. I actually
think it's a good time too.
Okay.
I got a short clock too.
So. Listen, it's okay to be short once in a while. Thanks for coming on, everybody.
I know. Good to see you guys.
Anybody got an event this weekend?
Oh.
No, I have a DEKA mile in 2 weeks, and I have my 12K in 3 weeks.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Fort Wayne in three weeks.
Okay, there you go.
All right, see you later.
Thanks.